Have you ever looked at your bank account and wondered, where did all my money go? You earn money, you pay your bills, you try to save, and somehow, a few weeks later, you are back at the same number. Maybe the problem isn't that you don't make enough money. Maybe the real problem is something much more powerful, your psychology. Because money is not just about mathematics. It's about emotions, habits, fear, excitement, comparison, and the stories you tell yourself about what money means. And until you understand those things, you can earn more and still keep losing money. Think about two people who earn exactly the same salary. One saves consistently, invests patiently, and rarely feels stressed about money. The other earns the same amount but constantly runs out of cash, carries debt, and feels like money disappears overnight. What makes the difference? It isn't always intelligence. It isn't necessarily income. And it certainly isn't because one person owns a magical spreadsheet. The difference is often behavior, and behavior is heavily influenced by emotion. When you're afraid, you make different financial decisions than when you're confident. When you're excited, you may spend money you didn't plan to spend. When you're stressed, buying something can temporarily feel like relief. And when everyone around you appears successful, you can start believing that you need to spend more just to keep up. The strange part is that these decisions can feel completely reasonable while you're making them. This is why one of the biggest mistakes you can make with money is assuming that every financial decision is logical. Imagine you walk into a store after having a terrible day, you see something expensive that you really want, you know you don't need it, you know it wasn't part of your budget, but buying it makes you feel better. For a few minutes, you feel rewarded. Then the excitement disappears and the bill remains. This is emotional spending. And emotional spending is dangerous because you're not really buying the product. You're buying the feeling you expect the product to create. A new phone might feel like success. A new car might feel like freedom. Expensive clothes might feel like status. A luxury vacation might feel like proof that you've finally made it. But feelings fade much faster than payments. And then there is comparison. You don't usually compare your life with the average person. You compare it with the person who seems to be doing better than you. Social media makes this worse. You see someone with a new house, a new car, expensive dinners, perfect vacations, and a lifestyle that looks effortless. You don't see their debt. You don't see their financial stress. You don't see the years of work behind the picture. You only see the highlight reel. This creates a dangerous financial cycle. You see someone else spending more, you feel behind, you spend more to feel successful, your savings fall, stress increases, then you see even more people who appear richer than you, and the cycle starts again. The problem isn't simply spending, the problem is using spending to measure your worth. Another psychological trap is instant gratification. Your brain loves rewards that happen now. Saving money gives you a benefit in the future. Spending money gives you a feeling today. That creates a battle between your present self and your future self. Your present self says, buy it. You deserve it. Your future self says, please don't. And unfortunately, your present self is usually louder. This is why small purchases can become surprisingly powerful. $5 here doesn't feel important. $10 there doesn't feel important. A few subscriptions don't feel important. Ordering food because you're tired doesn't feel important. But your brain evaluates each purchase separately. Your bank account experiences them together. One small decision isn't usually the problem. Thousands of small decisions become the problem. There is another reason you may keep losing money. Lifestyle inflation, you get a raise. At first you think, now I can finally save more. But then your apartment gets nicer. Your phone gets upgraded. Your meals get more expensive. Your weekend plans become bigger. And suddenly, your new income feels exactly like your old income. You didn't become richer. You simply became more expensive to maintain. The scary part is that lifestyle inflation can feel like progress. You aren't necessarily buying ridiculous things. You're just slowly making everything a little better. A slightly better car, a slightly bigger home, a slightly more expensive restaurant, a slightly more luxurious vacation. Individually, each choice looks harmless. Together, they can quietly destroy your ability to build wealth. Then there is fear. Fear can destroy wealth just as quickly as reckless spending. Imagine you invest your money and the market falls 20%. Your screen turns red, your stomach drops. You start thinking, what if it falls even more? So you sell. The market eventually recovers, but you're no longer invested. You didn't lose money because the market moved. You lost money because fear made you abandon your plan. Fear creates another problem. We often remember losses more strongly than gains. Losing $100 can hurt more than gaining $100 feels good. That can make you overly cautious after a bad experience. You lose money once and suddenly you believe investing is dangerous. You get scammed once and you decide nobody can be trusted. You overspend once and you become afraid to spend anything. Your brain tries to protect you. But sometimes protection becomes another form of limitation. And this leads to one of the most important lessons about money. You need a system that protects you from your own emotions. Don't rely on motivation. Motivation disappears. Build automatic habits instead. Automate your savings. Automate your investments. Create spending limits. Keep an emergency fund. Separate money for bills from money for spending. Make the smart decision easier than the impulsive decision. Think of your financial system like a set of guardrails. You don't install guardrails because you expect to crash every day. You install them because you know that one bad moment can have a huge consequence. The same is true with money. A budget is a guardrail. An emergency fund is a guardrail. Automatic investing is a guardrail. A rule that says, I wait 24 hours before buying expensive things is a guardrail. You also need to understand your personal money triggers. When do you spend the most? When you're bored, stressed, celebrating, trying to impress someone, feeling insecure. Once you identify the emotion that comes before the purchase, you can interrupt the pattern. Instead of asking, can I afford this? Ask a better question. Why do I want this right now? This simple question can change everything. Because sometimes the answer will be practical. You need it. You plan for it. You can afford it. But sometimes the answer will be emotional. You are bored. You want validation. You're comparing yourself with someone else. You're trying to escape stress. When you recognize the real reason, you regain control. And remember this, building wealth is usually boring. There is no secret button, no magical investment, no perfect stock, no shortcut that eliminates risk. Real financial progress often looks incredibly ordinary. Spend less than you earn. Save consistently. Invest for the long term. Avoid unnecessary debt. Increase your skills. Give your money time to grow. The boring process is often the powerful process. So if you keep losing money, don't immediately assume you need a higher salary. Ask yourself better questions. What emotions control my spending? Am I buying things because I need them or because I want to feel something? Am I comparing my life with people I don't really know? Does my lifestyle rise every time my income rises? Do I have systems that protect me when I'm tired, stressed, excited, or afraid? Because your financial future is not created by one big decision. It is created by thousands of small decisions repeated over time. Money doesn't just reveal how much you earn, it reveals how you think. If you can understand your emotions, control your habits, resist comparison, and build systems that work even when motivation disappears, you stop fighting your money every month. You start working with it. And maybe the biggest financial lesson is this: you don't need to become perfect with money. You just need to become more intentional. Because when your behavior changes, your financial future can change with it.